Deductions, wages and living conditions aren't the only grievances that farm workers at Modelpark have. In 2017, Lloyd Marutsa was injured in a truck accident at work. He had been working at Modelpark for 8 years.
Saka mutractor right drive farm tractor takatinaro rakandomira richiburusa waifana kuti adzake aende paishandira ndo pakasimudza umwe tractor rakakamira kumashure isiri kuti adarika aende ndo vaita street kwekudini kwekurovera tractor ranga richiburusa munhu aifana kuti aende pabasa paishandira isiri tirimo.
Marutsa was taken to hospital and x-rays showed that he had sustained a fracture in his right ankle. He was operated on and booked off work for 3 weeks.
Apana chakabuda yakangozobuda imari yepay mapirire mwedzi ndiyo yakabuda. Gumbo ranga rakasina kunaka asi ndakaenda kuti vaiti uya kubasa nokuti ukasakuya kulight duty apa ndikuti atofuna kuti light duty auwani mati kupi mari yepay kuti uone chikafu. Saka ini kuda ngokuti ndoziva kuti hapana waini pachikafu ndosaka ndaenda kubasa asi gumbo ranga risina kudini kupora nokuti ndaitoti kana ndaitoshanda ndakagara raitoramba kudai ndaitogara ndakadai.
He says Modelpark made arrangements to pick him up from home to the pack house, but soon that arrangement came to a complete stop and he was slowly phased out from his job without any compensation.
Pakati indakatoti basa handikwanisi ndishande ichikonzero ndikuti ndikurwadziwa gumbo rangu kuti ndifambe zvinetsuka kuya kustoreroom kubva pendogara kuretu. Iko zvinezvi handina usina ndatombozama kuendeko kundotsvaga basa.
According to the Department of Labour, Modelpark should have been contributing to the compensation fund and should have claimed compensation from the fund on behalf of Marutsa. Marutsa says this never happened. In 2018, more than 943 farm inspections were conducted in the northwest. Inspections are usually conducted following complaints. Despite this, Inspector General Egi Milwa still holds the idealistic view that farm workers should regulate themselves.
I think there's a myth out there that the Department of Labour is solely responsible for issues of compliance and enforcement. And actually nothing is further from the truth. The spirit of our laws is that compliance should be voluntary, so there must be an element of self-regulation. So we put it in the goodwill of all the role players in the labour market.
Following the protest at Modelpark in January, inspectors in the northwest paid the farm a visit early in February.
Our inspectors speak to at least no less than 2 employees so that whatever the employer could say will then be either validated or confirmed.
Muira says when it comes to issues outlined in the Basic Conditions of Employment Act, the Labour Department found the employer to be compliant. However, deductions from the workers' wages seem irregular for 2 reasons.
You can't make a deduction without securing an agreement. So there must be a contractual agreement. Section 34 makes provision to the fact that you cannot deduct more than a quarter of the entire wages. If we establish that indeed the deduction was illegal, it shouldn't have happened, it doesn't matter how far back it dates, the employer has got to pay back.
According to the department, it was also difficult to verify who of the people living on the farm worked there and who did not.
We had a meeting with the Home Association rep for that area, the shop steward, and our inspectors, so that we can then sift who is an employee and who's not an employee.
The farmer's bookkeeping was allegedly found in a chaotic state. The department says it was unable to conclude its investigation and expects to do so by the end of May. Labour unionist Louisa Mudigwe says government isn't doing enough to improve the working and living conditions of farm workers.
99% of the farmers, the workers' bathrooms are bad. It's not a bathroom where you can say a normal human being can go to. There's so much leakage, and you would ask yourself why the deductions in relation to accommodation.
We found that according to the sectorial determination, the housing did not meet the stipulations that was there. Under those circumstances, how can it be almost inconclusive that to a certain degree he isn't complying with at least that bit of the sectorial determination?
During the time of conducting that inspection and also going to the residents, because of the issue of the presence of people that are not employed by the farmer, there was an agreement amongst the role players that let the process of sifting be concluded, so that when our inspectors go back, precisely for the reason of ensuring that they go through the process of looking at the accommodation itself. And if the accommodation where the employees are housed is not up to scratch, then we will deal with the employer in that regard.
After the break,
Daar's Piet en Py vanmôre by my. Hulle het gekom te sê hulle vir my, okay, as so is, dan moet hulle vir my sê hulle sal maandag vir my 'n antwoord gee of gaan hulle nog aan met my besigheid.